Printer technology is changing quickly. The latest 3D models allow you to make anything from toys to machinery right at home. And prices have come way down. Scott Stein is a senior editor for our partners at CNET. Scott, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
If they asked you to pose for the body issue nude, Scott, your answer would be?
I'll think about it. I need a good night about that.
Okay.
Okay, so what do these new models of printers have?
Well, the new models are actually working off of old technology because this has been around for 30 years, and the consumer-grade versions of these are using a combination of expired patents and open source technology to put something in the consumer's hands at a lower price. And they all work pretty much the same way. They're taking ABS plastic or PLA plastic, and they're layering it, hot plastic in layers, to turn into these shapes. And you can print out pretty complex shapes because they're 3D objects. So here's a chess piece. This is a wristband for an iPod Nano. And a lot of them are pretty solid pieces. Sometimes you can do complex pieces. This was one print, and it's a nutcracker. It was an open source design on Thingiverse. And you can see here, this is all one print, and it has those joints built into it.
Tell us about the possibilities and the limitations.
Sure. Well, the possibilities are, this is really kind of the growth of the maker movement and the idea of, home creators. I think it's kind of the equivalent of the sewing machine in the sense that it's something you put in your home that you use for creating and crafting prototypes. If you're a person who wants to design something and you want to get that idea into a physical working model, these plastic objects, the limitation is that they feel a little bit lightweight or junky, look like Tinker Toys. They're not meant to replace, it's not like Star Trek where you're going to print out the actual object at home, but it's a great tool for printing out a short-term solution or a model. Here's that wristband.
Prototype or
Prototype.
Or right now we're printing out the CBSI. Before it's done, you can take it home and hang it in your living room.
Exactly.
It looks great above the mantle. But why would a regular person want one of these, Scott?
I think the regular person who has a creative mind would want one of these, a designer. I think right now for a consumer, it's not really about mass consumption and consumer use yet in terms of printing out something that you need. Although there are a lot of objects out there available, people have hacked together replacement parts for devices they've had or parts that don't exist. And you can see Staples getting into this now, and maybe places like IKEA will get into it.
And then there's the controversy.
There is.
About being able to make guns on the internet.
Right, and that was a political statement in a lot of ways because of the idea of gun regulation. It was a statement about gun regulation, but certainly, absolutely, you're looking at pieces that are then being used to put together a gun. However, it's not like you could press a button and then the gun prints out. In that instance, it's kind of a project. They're giving you individual pieces, assembling them. It required a nail at that point, a bullet. But the point being that yes, you're dealing with a tool, that you're using like in a tool shop. You can build things. So the opportunity to build all sorts of things is suddenly available that maybe wasn't there before.
This is going to be a hot item for consumers at some point?
I think it will be a hot item in terms of, I think that sewing machine analogy for me, I think it's a groundbreaking item. I think it's changing a landscape for what it means to build things. For the average person, the price now is still around $12.99, and the model at Staples. The spools of plastic cost $50 each. It's not something like a printer. You're not going to put this in your home next to your coffee machine and use it.
We're printing, we can see here in the green room, we are printing another chess piece there.
Yeah.
How long does that take to create that?
So it takes some time. You kind of have to go get some lunch and wait for it to print. Depends on how complex the object is.
Yeah.
If it's all solid plastic, you can see it's not instantaneous. If you're thinking it's going to be like printing out a letter, you're going to be sitting there watching paint dry. But it's very hot. It's not something, you want to keep it maybe in your tool shop versus, in the middle of the living room. But
in your tool shop. You have a tool shop right
exactly. Keep it in your garage.
Okay. All right.
I need one in the tool shop. Yes, I was just thinking that this
got a
morning.
3D
What's in there
printer.
now?
A hammer.
So it takes a while, and they look pretty industrial, and that's the whole idea. This all came out of that maker movement to be something that is to excite the home tinkerer.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank
Just
you,
thinking
Scott.
about the tool shop.
Yeah.
And there's a screwdriver there too, smarty pants. Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah.